I'll pause it.
Yep.
So I'll go over here, run, pause it. Okay.
This unfortunately doesn't work for what
Okay,
we're trying to do,
that's
but
fine.
you're all set right there. Just hit play and we'll start playing for you.
Okay, it looks like we have everybody assembled here. So before we begin with these wonderful students going to sing for us, um, if you would join me, I'm going to give the invocation, and then we'll give the pledge. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful day and your many blessings. Lord, as we citizens of this great republic come together to perform our civic duties and serve one another in this county, let us take pause to remember our brothers and sisters alike in Belgium and throughout all of Europe who have once again encountered the true face of evil in their society. As we lift up the families and friends of those who have lost their lives or were injured in today's terror attacks in Brussels, we pray for their comfort and peace during this most difficult trial. We also pray that through your sovereign will, your swift justice will be brought to bear on those who are responsible for this evil. As we turn our eyes to our own home front and the many trials and difficulties we face here, let us not forget that we are all members of the same human race and that we all bear the image of our Creator, and as such, let us remember to treat each other with mutual respect and dignity that you have called us to by your word. Thank you for each and every person who plays a part in this school district, for their selflessness and sacrifice for the work they do every day. Forgive us of our petty differences and empower us by your Holy Spirit to work together for the mutual benefit of our most prized possession, our children. Be with the men and women of the United States military as they serve their country's highest calling. Watch over them, go before them, and give them victory in all they set out to accomplish. And lastly, we thank you most of all for your Son, Jesus Christ, and the sacrifice that he made on the cross for our sins as we look forward to Resurrection Sunday. It's in his name we pray. Sola Deo Gloria in Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to call to order the school board meeting, a regular meeting of March 22nd, 2016. March is Music Month in our schools, And the chorus students from Grove Park Elementary and Orange Park Elementary are performing for us tonight under the direction of Katie Polk, music teacher for both schools. I'd like to also introduce the principals Scott Voitko from Grove Park Elementary and Carol McCullough from Orange Park Elementary. Let them stand and be recognized. And if we have any other music teachers in the audience, would you also please stand and be recognized? Okay, we're ready for our second song.
I'm going to test the sound to see if it's a little bit louder.
Sure. Can you turn a little bit louder? I'd like to thank Miss Katie Polk for that. She's a wonderful music teacher. I know because I am blessed to hear her sing every Sunday morning, and she is wonderful. So thank you, children. Thank you, Miss Polk. Truly a blessing. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome citizens of Clay County. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend tonight's meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected representatives to collaborate openly and make decisions that will decide the future direction of our public schools and the education of our children here in Clay County. If you wish to address the board, there will be an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. If you fill out a yellow card, which you'll find located in the back of the room, and please indicate the specific item number or topic that you wish to speak about, and then turn it in promptly. No additional cards will be accepted once the board moves to the discussion agenda. First, we bring the adoption of the consent agenda. I will note that there have been no items pulled. But prior to us taking that up for a motion, I would like to mention consent item C2, which is the Clay County, it's resolution 16-13 Clay County Agricultural Fair, and I have asked Ms. Gilhausen if she would read that resolution.
Resolution 16-13, whereas Clay County will hold its 13th annual agricultural fair on 30th annual agricultural fair on March 31st through April 9th, 2016, and whereas the Superintendent and School Board of Clay County endorses this event with the Clay County Fair Association and hereby encourages all citizens to attend and enjoy this educational and entertaining event, and whereas this fair will serve as a showcase for Clay County agriculture with emphasis on educational experience concerning Clay County's leading industry, and whereas various Clay County youth organizations such as 4-H clubs and Future Farmers of America play an important part in the fair, and whereas the Superintendent and School Board of Clay County encourages all citizens to demonstrate their support of our youth by taking an active interest in their activities at the fair, and whereas agriculture fairs provide fun and entertainment as well as education for the entire family, and whereas the Fair Board, committee members, Patron Life members, and many volunteers have done an outstanding job of putting together the 30th Annual Clay County Fair, which will provide entertainment and learning for children and adults of all ages, now therefore be it resolved that the Superintendent and School Board of Clay County, Florida do hereby dedicate this 30th Annual Clay County Agricultural Fair to all the citizens of Clay County, duly adopted this 22nd day of March 2016.
Okay, I will entertain an adoption of the consent agenda.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
I have a motion for approval by Ms. Condon and a second by Ms. Gilhousen. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Next item up is recognitions and awards. We'd like to recognize Skylar McGlynn and Elise Kluver, the 2015-16 Clay County Volunteers of the Year, and the state winner, Susie Pelfrey, Superintendent Van Zant, and Janine Rogers.
Ms. Rogers, would you join me at the podium? It's our pleasure tonight to have Ms. Janine Rogers from the Florida Department of Elder Affairs to make our first presentation of the evening, and I'll let her introduce herself to us and make your presentation, ma'am.
Ms. Pelfrey, would you please come forward? Superintendent Van Zant, the other members of the board, and to this very fine community. I'm Janine Rogers, the Director of Volunteer and Community Services. It is the mandate of our office to recognize volunteerism by and for elders around the state of Florida. With pleasure this evening, we have the opportunity to recognize Ms. Pelfrey for 5 years of service to Shadow Lawn Elementary. It is my understanding that you have over 1,000 volunteer hours, and in addition to that, you've done such an outstanding job with helping to improve the academic success of the students in their reading skills. So on behalf of our department secretary, Samuel Verghese, and on behalf of myself as the Director of the Office of Volunteer and Community Services, we'd like to thank you for your commitment and your dedication, and we want you to know that we appreciate all of the things that you're doing to help bridge intergenerational connections and the difference between the generations. Thank you so much, Ms. Pelfrey, for your service.
If her family's here, y'all are welcome to come on up and get your picture taken. Family members, come on up. There we go.
Okay. We have a couple of other volunteers to recognize tonight as well. So I'm going to read a little bit about Skylar McGlynn, and then I'm going to ask you to come join me, but I won't make you stand here while I read this long paragraph about you. Ms. Skylar McGlynn is a student at Orange Park High School. She's our district winner for youth. She's a junior, the junior class president, a Raiderette, a member of Students Working Against Tobacco, a member of the Student Advisory Council, a member of the Health Academy, and when not in school, you can find Skylar volunteering with Tyler's Tabs, the Ronald McDonald House, Donovan Darius Foundation, Dignity You Wear, the Mercedes Lewis Foundation, Wounded Warriors, among others. She tirelessly volunteers and promotes volunteering to other students, often recruiting them for one of these organizations that she regularly works with. In the past year alone, Skylar has completed 350 hours of community service and has been awarded the President's Volunteer Service Award. She has completed a total of and 17 community service hours since ninth grade. She's recently competed in the Miss Orange Park High School Scholarship Pageant where she was awarded the Leadership Award, no surprise there, and placed first runner-up. She was named Miss Orange Park High School Sweetheart 3 days later. She was also volunteering at IHOP's National Pancake Day to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. Her career goal is to become a Life Flight Trauma Unit EMT so that she can continue to help others. Her favorite quote is, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Winston Churchill, one of my favorites too. How lucky for Skylar that in her life she gets to do both. Skylar, could you join me up here? Our next volunteer is Miss Elise Kluver from Ridgeview Elementary School. She is our adult volunteer school district winner. Elise Kluver has been serving Ridgeview since her sons attended Ridgeview Elementary School 18 years ago. She has volunteered in both the classroom and in the media center. She's taken on numerous responsibilities, including laminating, shelving books, checking students in and out, as well as assisting with media lessons. She is always pleasant to work with, and she is willing to undertake any project that we give to her. She is reliable, flexible, and willing to work hard. We at Ridgeview Elementary would be at a loss without her, and we are so pleased and honored to make it known to all how wonderful of a volunteer we have in Elise Kluver. Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, I was saying earlier to Ms. Rogers that you can find great volunteers in Clay County. Just walk in any school any day of the week, and you don't even have to have anybody point them out to you. And we have 5,000 fine employees that work with this school district, but that's not nearly enough to serve the 36,000 kids that come in and out of our doors every day. So we recognized some people that exemplify great volunteerism, but that's just not even the tip of the iceberg of those unsung heroes that come in and out of every school every day. I see a lot of school folks here. You have them. You know who I'm talking about. So take that time to recognize them and nominate them for this well-deserved recognition. Thank you so much to all of you that were here tonight and able to be recognized. Now, for something that's just kind of fun to do, we have with us tonight our Principal of the Year, and we recognized her a couple months ago with that honor as Principal of the Year. But just to affirm our ability to pick the Principal of the Year in Clay County, the Governor of the great state of Florida also recently awarded Miss Sarah Lawson with the Governor's Shine Award. So I would like to ask Miss Lawson, whose family is here with her, bring the whole family up. They're all here tonight and celebrate this with us, this great honor from the Governor.
Too bad he couldn't be here.
Miss Lawson's husband, Anthony, is also here next to us. I don't want him to get jealous. I gave her flowers before, and I don't want her husband to get jealous, so we're just doing a certificate for her tonight. I love Sarah. I can't help but hug her every time I And finally tonight, we have one of our fine instructional staff, Mr. David Bradley from Lakeside Junior High. Where's Mr. Bradley? I have called Mr. Bradley a couple of times because he serves our children so well. When I meet one of the parents of one of his students, all they can talk about is Mr. Bradley. So literally, this is my first time to get to meet him. But we've talked a couple of times because when I get around the Lakeside parents, they all just want to talk about Mr. Bradley. So I've got and again, he's been recognized here at the local level, but he was recently also recognized at the state level with the government.
Okay. Next up on the agenda is presenters. We are going to see a presentation from Ms. Cherie Stewart on CTE Academy. So, Ms. Stewart.
Come on, Cherie, say it.
Say it. Come on.
I'm not that crazy yet. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Good evening. Good to see you all tonight. It's a beautiful night. Can we move everything outside? You know, like you do on a good day in the classroom. Let's move outside and sit outside. It's beautiful. Just want to take a few minutes. I time myself on this. It's about 37 minutes. So, no, I'm just kidding. Just want to take a few minutes this evening to talk to you about our partnership with Ford Next Generation Learning. Most of you all are pretty aware of the fact that we've had a long-term relationship with them. Back a few years ago, they actually came and made some presentations to us, and probably will come back soon just to kind of rekindle that fire. But tonight what I want to do is talk for just a second about the pillars. There are 3 strands within the Ford Next Generation Learning. There's transforming teaching and learning. There's redesigning high schools or transforming the secondary school experience, what they're now calling it, and transforming business and civic engagement. And that's really what I want to talk about tonight, that 3rd strand, which is transforming business and civic engagement, which is something we've been working really diligently with here in the past 6 months or so. So I really just wanted to give you an update. We've kind of invited you to a couple of things here lately, but wanted you to see some of those things in pictures and numbers as to what's going on. So one of those things was our first ever Clay Regional Career Fair. It was an amazing event. It was a partnership between us, the school district, the Clay Chamber, Career Source, Thrasher Horn, and St. Johns River State College. So we had over 350 juniors attend that day. And that was the day, if you'll remember back, they had tornado warnings that morning. They were telling people to stay put in their schools and all this. And here we're trying to get 350 juniors bused to Thrasher Horn. So it was an interesting morning. It was amazing. The business partners that were there were totally amazed with our students. They were amazed with their professionalism. They were amazed with the questions they asked. So that was the first ever. I think it's going to grow every year and become a bigger and better event. Really gave our students an idea of some jobs that are available in this region. So that's a good thing. The next is our career shadowing, which is an event we've been doing for a while. This was for our juniors as well. We had over 150 juniors participate in our career fair, which was the week of February 29th. And there were over 36 businesses that allowed our students to come in, because lots of kids think they want to be a nurse until they see the blood, and then they change their mind rather quickly. So career shadowing is a very good opportunity for students to really see what those careers are. Here's one that is a pilot program for us, and it's amazing. CCUA, the Clay County Utility Authority, a lot like many other industries in our district and in our region, have an aging workforce. So they are screaming to us to please help them to fill their workforce with some younger folks, the newer generation. So CCUA did more than scream and say, help us. They said, let us help you. So they partnered with Middleburg High School, which has a very diverse academy and pathway choice. And currently, they have 3 students who are interning for Middleburg High School with Clay County Utility Authority. They are on their payroll, and they are doing a fine job. We have an engineering student. We have a GIS student. So it's amazing. It's a great pilot. It's working very well so far. We've had a couple of bumps in the road, which was good because we're learning a little bit as we're going. But they're enjoying the students. I talked to Celeste, their PR gal, today at the fair luncheon, actually, and she's like, oh, we love the new guy they just got. So it's a great partnership for the students because it really shows them, again, those career opportunities that are out there, some with college experience, some without. So it's really hitting on all cylinders. Our next one is Construction Career Days. So if you'll write this date down, April 7th. This is one that has not happened yet. It's an amazing event. It's sponsored by Florida Department of Transportation because, again, a lot of those companies that work with Florida Department of Transportation have an aging workforce. So they started this program a few years back, and they're looking for kids all across the spectrum, or young people. They're looking for engineers. They're looking for environmental science folks. They're looking for contractors. So all across the spectrum, this is April 7th. It's at the Equestrian Center. That is Clay County Day, so they will be filled with Clay County students. So I would urge you during that day, if you don't have something else going on, please attend. It's an amazing event to see all the different industries that roll around what the Florida Department of Transportation does. Did I say it was at the Equestrian Center? Okay. Next, we also have school-based career fairs. So this is just some pictures from our ACE career fair that our Academy of Visual and Performing Arts put on, actually here from Fleming. A lot of our schools do their own career fairs revolving around their academy specifically, and it's just to get, again, those students talking to some folks that work in those industries or in those areas that they're interested in. Here's another great one with our partnership with St. Johns River State College. On March 29th, you can write that day down as well. Kind of middle of the day, probably between 11 and 12:30 is the key time. St. Johns River State College offers a health careers day. Typically in the past, it's just been for their students. But we've had some good conversation with them. A lot of the employers that are there that day looking for students are looking for CNA students. That's what we do with a lot of our health science kiddos, is get them that CNA certification. So we've got 80 seniors going that day, who most of them can walk out of there with a job. So we're talking about our mission and our vision, which I put up at the beginning, about making our kids world ready and work ready, and this is a great example of that. Many of those students can walk out of there that day with a job. This is just an example of some of our amazing and tireless business partners. Hopefully we didn't leave too many out. We have a lot more, so this is just a sampling. And last but not least, just wanted to say that our school district, I believe, is doing a great job with our business community and working to create students who are college and career ready. And we hope to just keep expanding it. It's really, everybody's starting to see what we're doing, so now we're having businesses knock on our door and say, hey, how can I get involved? So it's great to see. Most of you probably know that VyStar's adding a third credit union at Middleburg High School for this upcoming school year. So, I mean, business partners are seeing the difference that it makes in the lives of our students, and they're coming to us now, so it's great. One more thing, and I'm done. If you get the Clay Today, you will notice in the last month that our 2 kiddos, Madison and William, have been on the front page of the Clay Today here in the last couple weeks, so I thought that was good to see as well. I do have kind of maroon on tonight. That's for Texas A&M making it into the Sweet 16 in basketball.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Did
Thank you,
not say
Ms.
Roll
Stewart.
Tide. She just has to do it. Hey, football season will be here soon.
And what is that, Carol?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, yeah. Okay. All right. We have no scheduled citizens requests, so we will be moving into our discussion agenda. This would be the last call for speaker cards. If there are any additional speaker cards to turn in, you'll need to turn them in now. Okay. Item D1, before you speak, we do have one card on item D1, and this is Mr. Keith Nichols.
This won't take long. My name is Keith Nichols, and my address is on the card. 2 months ago, I brought up the idea of using the fallow land that the district currently owns as community gardens to help feed the employees that are currently trying to survive at below poverty levels. And mind you, I'm not talking about a simplistic pallet garden. I'm actually talking about the 20-plus acres that we have on County Road 315. And my thought is, if we get started soon, we'll have a chance to plant the Three Sisters and have a harvest come about the time that we get out of school. So I'd love to hear an update on how this ideal has been advanced or ignored over the last 2 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Okay, Mr. Van Zant.
Hey, we've got just a little teaser for you tonight, and then I'm going to call Ms. Schofield up about something that will be presented more fully next month. But we've been working the district, Orange Park High School, and St. John's College, expanding our partnership that's been a great partnership for years with St. John's River. And we're in the process of creating St. John's River Collegiate High School at Orange Park High School. So basically, selected students will be able to enter with a 9th grade cohort, and upon completion of their senior year, they'll be able to earn an Associates of Arts degree. So we'll be giving you a full presentation at the April board meeting, and have some representatives from St. John's College and Orange Park High School to present to the board and the community and give you some more details on that. So without any further ado, I'd like to call up Mr. Mike Wingate, Ms. Kathy Schofield, and Dr. Saren Hatcher to share a little bit more good news with you.
All right, all right. This is good stuff, folks. We're excited about several of the programs that we got going, and we've got one that we want to do a quick presentation for you. Just a quick background is several months ago, we met with the National Math and Science Initiative representatives. They came and met with several of us from the instructional division, and they talked about how they could increase our participation in the AP programs, advanced placement programs, and we're very excited about that. Through Kathy's tireless efforts and her connections with the military and grant writing, we are now hooked up with that group, the National Math and Science Initiative. We refer to them as NIMSI. And Kathy and Dr. Hatcher are going to make a quick presentation. Kathy's done a lot of work in this area. We've met with the 7 high schools. They're on board. Dr. Hatcher will pick up this program and start running with it. He'll help Kathy coordinate this, and then Dr. Hatcher will be out in the schools and be the liaison between the schools and NIMSI. So at this time, we just want to do a short presentation for you about this program, okay? Kathy.
Okay, so as Mr. Wingate mentioned, this is brought to us by the National Math and Science Initiative. So we're looking at a STEM initiative, and it's real important because most of the jobs that we're preparing kids for, a lot of the greatest opportunities are in those STEM fields. So that's why STEM and why now. What NIMSI has done is come to us, and they've offered us, as Mr. Wingate said, the opportunity to increase student achievement in the advanced placement programs while also providing a lot of supports for teachers, students, and our schools. And as you can see by the circle diagram there, there's a teacher support component, which includes some financial incentives as well as incredible professional development opportunities. There are student supports that Dr. Hatcher will tell you about, and there's also school support here. And this is going to include the math and science parts of our advanced placement program, as well as English, because even us STEM folk recognize how important literacy and writing are. So as you can see, there's a lot more data that I could share with you, but I just want to show you one example of some of the really dramatic results that this program has had across the country. And Mr. Wingate, being the skeptic, went ahead and actually called a bunch of districts around the country, kind of picked some out and said, hey, how is this really going? And In fact, we verified that this program does bring this kind of results to students in terms of passing that advanced placement test. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of support for teachers coming with this, and the overall value of this grant that we're being funded through Department of Defense for is about $250,000 per school per year, and this is a 3-year opportunity extending to all 7 high schools. So the total is, it's about $5 million, $5.2 million over the whole 3 years. And so what this will look like is the teachers will have the opportunity to attend AP Summer Institutes, 2-day ongoing workshops to give them that job-embedded piece. They'll also get the mock exam reader training, which people wait for years on the waiting list to get that training. And as soon as you get those insights and keys as to how those readers think, automatically you come back better able to deliver that curriculum to your students. And if they would like, they'll also have the opportunity to have a mentor in their specific field. Sometimes these AP teachers are one in a school, and it's hard to collaborate with yourself. The mentors, as I mentioned, will also help support them, and for new AP teachers, it's also an incredible opportunity. Well, in addition to just the incredible professional development, what you're going to see is NIMSY is supporting our teachers with some financial incentives. They'll be awarded up to $500 for attending some of the training. And when their students are successful, currently now they're getting a $50 incentive. This will go to $100 up to the match, or up to the point that they would normally get the 50. There's a cap. Well, after the cap is met, then the grant will throw in the whole 100, even once they've met that cap. And we've been working with the schools on setting a growth projection for the number of passing scores. And if a teacher meets that passing score benchmark, then they'll also receive an additional $1,000 bonus. They'll have access to some incredible resources because the AP doesn't require a specific book or curriculum. They require just that they're meeting the standards. So they'll have access to the teacher portal, which is an incredible resource. Additionally, NIMSY recognizes that high-quality STEM programs are expensive. Labs need to be updated. Teachers need calculators and state-of-the-art equipment. So there will be supports for the schools as well. There will be a person who will be the lead contact at each school, and they will receive a financial incentive for coordinating up the efforts. And if all those goals in the growth in the courses are met, that person will also be eligible to receive a bonus. The site coordinator will be someone who will coordinate some of the extra activities. Students will have the opportunity to attend Saturday sessions, not taught by our teachers, but instead taught by mentor AP teachers. And our teachers will have the opportunity to come and see what these mentor teachers are teaching and collaborate with others. And if the site coordinators want to be the person to help with the logistics, as you can see, there's financial incentives for them as well. And I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Hatcher now to talk about some of the incentives for students.
Good evening. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. I get to work with the fun part, dealing with the students and the incentives. I really enjoy that a great deal. Probably what a lot of our students want more so than anything else is probably money, right? Well, they're going to have an opportunity to make $100 for each qualifying score of a 3 or higher for the AP exams that they take in math, science, or English as well. So we're excited about that. And of course, NIMSY will pay 50% of the cost of the exam. So right now, it's actually just gone up to $92. So we're happy that they'll be able to offset some of the cost of the AP exams as well. Of course, equipment and supplies that Kathy talked about, $35,000 will go to each school over a course of 3 years. For different coursework and lab incentives as well. And of course, some of the tutoring that will be available 4 hours per week, minimum 4 hours per week for students, and then of course an additional 6.5 hours for the Saturday sessions as well. So we're really excited about that. The AP presenters will be available as well, and of course, here's a look at some of the Saturday sessions right here. It kind of show you exactly what one would look like for session 1 and when it will begin. Session 2 in late January and February, and of course, session 3 mid-March and late April as well. So we're excited. We're excited. I remember many years ago going through training, and we talked about when we set our goals for young people, they should be BHAGs. You remember that? Big, hairy, audacious goals. Well, this is one of them for our young people, and I'm excited for them, and you're going to see major growth when it comes to our AP participation. And as a byproduct, you will definitely see significant increase in the number of minorities participating in advanced placement as well. So we're excited about that. Thank you.
Outstanding.
Ms. Schofield, could you email that to the board members, your PowerPoint?
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item D2, Human Resources, Special Action A. I will entertain a motion.
I'll move approval. I'll second.
I have a motion for approval by Ms. Karakis and a second by Ms. Gilhousen. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Next item up is Business Affairs, item D3, award RFP number 16-BA-121 for HMO, PPO, HAS/CDC medical programs, and review and approve the 2016-17 Employee Plan A medical and supplemental benefits insurance plan.
I move approval.
I have a motion for approval by Ms. Studdard
Second.
and a second by Ms. Karakis. Any discussion? Do we have a presentation for this? No? Okay. Who's giving that presentation? Okay. Okay. I thought we did.
Hi. I'd like to call Miss Ann Gephardt with Aon to come up to the mic and present.
You thought you were getting away easy with just motion.
Hey, you know,
Not
There was
so
a presentation.
she looked at me like she wanted a motion. I said, let's go. I mean, I've never done this before. Okay.
With you, nothing like finishing the
Hey.
evening with insurance. So we'll try and keep this fairly high level. But as Ms. Condon knows, it's been a 6-month process for the RFP, beginning from the decision to go out to bid, the evaluation, and finally the decision. So it's been a very long process. I do want to recognize Mr. Warenberg, having stepped in kind of midstream and shepherding the process. He did a terrific job. And I also want to talk about the committee. As you can see, a 6-month process was a long process, and they were very dedicated to both short-term decisions and the long view. So it was one of the best committees that I've worked with. I work with a lot of districts, and the questions that were asked, the issues that were discussed were all really valid and important. So just to run through, we did submit an RFP. We asked the carriers to match what you currently had. So we didn't want to lose any ground with what you had accomplished, both with wellness, the wellness package. You have on-site representation, and we wanted to make sure that the second year in the renewal would be competitive. So we didn't want to find ourselves in the same place in another year. 3 carriers responded, which we kind of expected. So it was your incumbent, Florida Blue, and then Aetna and United. And the vendors were scored on the criteria that you can see. Obviously, cost is always a consideration, but there were a lot of other considerations around network and providers and the benefit features. So it was a very comprehensive view by the committee. There were finalist meetings held in February, very detailed meetings with the carriers. After reviewing all the proposals, Florida Blue was eliminated from the finalist presentations.
And each finalist received a list and agenda of questions that we really needed them to clarify for the committee and bring their best and final to the table. And so the committees made their, the finalists made their presentation to the committee on February 24th. Both finalists offered improved financials. So when we said bring best and final, they did. They came at it slightly different ways, but they both came to the table with some improvements. So you can see from the chart the final medical proposals. You can see Florida Blue as your current carrier. Aetna and United both came in at lower than current, and we haven't seen that in a while. So they both came in with proposals that were lower than current. They came at it a couple of different ways, though. Aetna's rates were about 5.6% lower than your current. United's were about 2.8, but they also included a one-time premium waiver or credit of about $1,900,000. So that was a pretty compelling offer on the table. So think of it as a one-time credit that essentially you don't have to pay 1 month of premium. So if you think about a car loan where you see the ad saying your first month is waived, the first month of premium for United is waived. So the committee evaluated both financial packages. They both had very strong wellness proposals in terms of the incentives that they're going to offer and commit to. And the committee ultimately made the decision to go with United Healthcare. And you can see best and final rates by tier, by plan, if you're really an insurance geek and you want to see all of that. But you can see where they started and the final rates and your current rates that are in force with the various respondents. Any questions?
I do have one question.
Yes.
Right here. On the one-time premium credit, does that is straight up a credit?
It's a credit.
It doesn't roll back into it later on, does it?
Does not roll back into it.
Okay.
So understand that not only are their rates lower, but they've offered this one-time credit.
Okay. That's good. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any more questions on the medical? So the insurance committee's recommendation is to change carriers and go to United Healthcare. We also have the rest of your benefit package to renew. And as you can see on the remaining renewals, the medical gap plan, we've got some data on. That's the plan that people use to cover deductibles and out-of-pocket expenses. And you can see that the initial renewal was a 60% renewal. Pretty shocking, but that is a benefit program that the folks that are enrolled in that, it's a voluntary program, it's an elective program, but it is highly utilized because as deductibles have been raised, as out-of-pocket expenses have gone up, employees have used this as a way to offset costs. The initial renewal was 60%. We negotiated it down to 40%, which is still a sizable increase. And we took a couple of proposals to the committee, which we'll review with you. But basically, what we've done is switch your current plans to a $2,000 gap plan at the current $3,000 rate. So we'll show you what that means in a minute. But that is the recommendation of the committee, is not to take the 40% increase, but to change the benefit plan and keep the rates the same. So we'll walk through that in a minute. The dental renewal was up for bid as well, and the initial renewal was a 6.1%. That was negotiated down to a 3.9% for 2 years. So that's a 2-year agreement. The rest of your benefits are on a rate hold for either 1 or 2 years. So a rate pass on your vision, your accident and injury, critical illness, whole life. Life and disability was up for renewal with Liberty Mutual. They came to the table with a rate hold for 2 years, which is a really sizable proposal. So let's just talk about the GAP plan briefly. The GAP plan we introduced when you raised deductibles and changed plan design. And that is a program that has been, as I said, widely used. And you can see the experience over the period. It was introduced in 2011. You can see that first year loss ratio was 145%, meaning claims exceeded premium. Again, you can see that almost every year since then, it's been at least close to claims equaling premium. And it's improved. Obviously, you can see for 2014-15 at a 90% loss ratio, meaning claims versus premium is at a 90%. If you average that out, though, over the period of the contract, it's still over 100%, meaning they didn't collect enough premium for the claims that they've paid. You've had some really good rate experience with them despite that high exposure, and so at this point they really felt like they needed to correct the premium rate and bring it up. And so as you can see on this slide, you currently have two plans. These plans were designed to dovetail with your medical plans. You have a $3,000 inpatient benefit, and you also have Plan 1500, which is a $1,500 inpatient benefit. The new plan that is proposed is a $2,000 inpatient benefit, so it sort of splits the difference in the middle. It's a $1,000 benefit for outpatient. You can see from the rate history that the new $2,000 plan is essentially the same price as the old $3,000 plan. So the benefit is being lowered, but the rate is being preserved. And I would also like to remind you that you have people in the $1,500 plan, so that will be eliminated, and those employees can choose to buy into the $2,000 plan. So for them, it's a little bit of a benefit enhancement if they want to choose to buy up. So that is the recommendation of the insurance committee, is to eliminate the two plans, move to one plan at essentially a rate hold to preserve the rate that people are paying today. Any questions?
That's great. Yeah, it looks like a good plan.
Yeah.
I mentioned Delta Dental. Your dental was up for renewal. The initial renewal was 6.1%, and it was negotiated down to a 3.9% renewal for a 2-year proposal. And the committee recommended that that be accepted as well. Vision was in a rate guarantee, as I'd mentioned before, so there's no increase there, and the benefit stays the same. And then, as I mentioned, your life and disability through Liberty Mutual was up for renewal this year, and they've proposed a 2-year renewal with no increase in rates. You can see the experience has varied between the basic life, the supplemental life, the short-term and long-term disability. Sort of a mixed bag of experience, but when we roll it up, you're at about a 71% loss ratio. Any questions? I think this is probably one of the best renewals that we've been able to bring to you.
Yes.
Sort of good news, so I think the committee did a great job in evaluating it, and we're pleased to present this renewal.
Thank you. Any further questions? All right. Well, I have a motion.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, I'm sorry. How do we need to word the motion?
Sorry, we need to have some clarification. There's two motions that are recommended actions. So for the record, the first motion is to award the RFP number 16 BA-121. There's a second motion that's a follow-on. So this is, as I'm understanding for the record, the motion, the second, for clarification from Ms. Bush, is that only as the first motion.
Okay.
May I change my motion to make it for motion to include both? Okay. Then I will make a motion to approve on our agenda that says motion 1 and motion 2. And I'll put it in one motion to approve both of them.
Okay. So I have a motion for approval for both items by Ms. Stutter.
I had already seconded, so I'd either have to withdraw it or amend it, so I'll second it.
Okay. All right. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Dr. Legetko.
Yes, hi. I also wanted to invite Ms. Crane, the Insurance Committee Chair, to say a few words about the process that we went through. And
absolutely.
Thank you. Well, it's kind of a moot point now. You really wanted to vote. That's good. Okay. So as you're already aware, we did choose United, and having been through the process twice before myself, I was confident when I went in, I was confident that Aetna was going to end up with the renewal. However, I was very surprised when we went through the process, as I believe most of the committee members were, and that United most definitely presented a better net cost to the district and a more lucrative wellness plan. So instead of saying, please vote, you've already done that, so thank you.
Well, thank you for your committee's very hard work. You guys did a great job.
I would like to say thank you to I would like to echo the sentiments. The committee worked extremely well together, very diligent, very good use of time, and it was a lot of time and a lot of reading. But Ms. Crane's leadership and the Aon folks leading us, and Sheila and her staff, it really was as painless as it could be. But we got through and almost had a unanimous vote. And with there 11, 12 people on the committee, that's pretty good to have, and only one dissenter. And so at any rate, it was a great experience, and I think everyone's glad that it's over for a while.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Lugacco, do you have anything else? Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, presentations from the audience. We have a few cards here. We'll start with Miss Liz Crane, since she was just up.
Okay, you're getting a different Liz now. Liz Crane, pardon? No, sorry. Liz Crane, I'm currently the CCA treasurer, former CCA president from 2008 to 2011. You have my address for the record. Deja vu. It's rather ironic that almost to the day, 5 years ago in 1 month, I stood before the board to express my disappointment in the vote of the board. For those who are not aware, in February of 2011, the school board voted 4-1 not to ratify the CCA-CCSB contract, despite proposing a salary increase for that school year. Emails, letters, and phone calls were expedited from around the world asking the board to vote no. How do I know this? The emails were sent to me, and there was an article in the paper about it. This year was slightly different in that the superintendent did not stand by the magistrate's recommendation, as well as 3 board members. Last time, the superintendent highly recommended the ratification of our contract and was joined by 1 school board member. I am extremely disappointed and angered that you do not support the educators of this county, the educators who spend hour after hour, dollar after dollar on the betterment of the students in this county. I'm disappointed and angered that you do not value us. If there's ever a time for solidarity of all stakeholders, it is now. The Florida legislature just passed a budget and will be signed by the governor, if he hasn't already done so, with very little additional funding. Where do we go from here? Teacher bashing movement is nationwide. I am asked over and over and over again by teachers, why do they hate me? What did I do to them? What did I do wrong? I don't have an answer for them. Do you? Now, I would like to know, why do you hate us so much that you voted down the recommendation from the magistrate that cost the district very little money, or even just the items that didn't cost any money whatsoever? Why? Our teachers deserve an answer. Last time I expressed my disappointment, a board member created these little buttons to express the love. If you need some, I know a guy who can set you up. Lastly, I would like to discuss some of the recent social media postings. I saw a posting expressing gratitude to the Sheriff's Department for keeping the school board members safe by walking them to their cars. While I was not there at the hearing, I was concerned that an elected official would post something like this publicly. This type of posting alludes that teachers and other educators were creating an unsafe environment. This is irresponsible. Parents are also on social media. It sends the wrong message that educators are threatening and could possibly harm school board members. So if you do post on social media, please remember the unintended consequences. I certainly hope that this elected official did not want to send the message that teachers are creating an unsafe environment and that our students are not safe in their classrooms.
Thank you, Ms. Crane. Miss Laura Mayberry.
Laura Mayberry, teacher in Clay County. You have my address on file, and I would like it noted for the record that I approached the board very slowly and did not make any threatening gestures. Innovate, engage, empower. It's a catchy slogan. Kudos to whatever consulting firm we paid to come up with it. But sarcasm aside, I think we finally have an initiative that everyone here can buy into. Thanks to the out-of-control rise in high-stakes testing, our students are now engaging with computer screens more than with their teachers and their peers. Thanks to mandatory weekly PLCs that take time away from planning lessons, grading papers, and tutoring students, our teachers are now empowered to arrive at school earlier, stay later, and take more work home. Thanks to the district's failure to follow the intent of the class size amendment, our teachers are now engaging with more kids than ever before. And yes, I know we're not technically in violation of the law due to the district of choice loophole. This district seems very fond of this particular loophole in the law. Too bad you didn't care enough about your annual contract teachers to use any loopholes to help them. Thanks to the lack of job security provided to our annual contract teachers, they are now empowered to take on additional responsibilities without earning supplements in order to ingratiate themselves to their principals to keep their jobs. Thanks to the growing pressure to increase graduation rates, teachers are finding innovative ways to push kids through the system regardless of their level of effort or learning. And thanks to this district's failure to budget for step or insurance increases, teachers are finding innovative ways to make ends meet, such as finding second jobs. And finally, thanks to your complete disregard for the people that are in your charge, the people of Clay County are now very engaged in the political process and are feeling very empowered enough to vote you out.
Miss Tracy Butler. You good? Okay. Miss Renalee Paiva.
Renalee Paiva. I am the president of the CCEA. I didn't make a big speech tonight, but I want to do some clarification because of social media. I actually titled my little speech as Liars in Reality. But having said that, I just want to give you some insight in me because there's a whole bunch of liars and reality going around this place in Clay County. I make $47,446 a year. That's 39 years in education and a master's degree. I don't make $68,000 that the minions are posting. I don't have a $15,000 travel line item, although I am taking that motion to my rep assembly on Thursday. I know. Union dues are not $611.08 a year. They are $624. So the minions have it wrong again. Most of that is not in, well, not, you have payroll deductions, so you should have added right. But we have a bunch of people that are cash pay because they're afraid of you. When you demonize your teachers, you demonize the people who are teaching your children. I don't drink pina coladas. I either drink Malbec or Coxburn ginger with a piece of lemon. It is against the law for the CCEA to donate to national campaigns. If we did, I go to jail. And I'm not going to jail. I put people in jail for 15 years. We don't donate to Planned Parenthood. And we don't advocate abortions. That is beyond our scope. The minions are having a field day with that stuff on social media. The CCEA has bought their own property. We are proud of it. We did it after 40 years of existence. Local dues are $93 a year. 40 years of existence. We have no mortgage. We did almost $70,000 of renovations, and we paid $170,000 cash. If the idea was to put some loophole out there, go to Community First, they're a partner, and I give you permission to see where the cash came from. We didn't launder it from out-of-country safe havens. I am a school board employee. You heard that from your own labor relations person say that the other day. And I expect to be treated like a school board employee.
School board requests.
I can start if you'd like.
Go ahead. As one of my assignments of being the liaison from the school board to the Board of County Commissioners, I was able to go with Commissioner Hutchings last week to the her mayor's meeting and meet with the local mayors, and they had some really interesting ideas of ways to partner with the county and the school district, and everyone agreed that because we're faced with great growth in our county, that there's going to be a need for more collaboration between the three organizations. They have something, because I haven't been attending their meetings, I really didn't get a lot of clarification, so I'm sure more communication will be coming out to all board members, all 5 board members, but they have something that they're doing in April. There's going to be a date in April where they're going to be presenting a strategic plan countywide that they've been working on, and they didn't have a date. I don't know a date, but it's going to be, I think, at the BCC, so they can record it and it can be available to view if anyone can't attend. But it's going to encompass basically all of the elected officials in the county are going to be invited, as well as some key business leaders, and I don't quite remember who else they said. There was a long list of people that are going to be invited to that presentation. In the event that I get communication beforehand on that date, I'll be sure to get it out to everyone. And additionally, this morning we had a Clay County Education Foundation meeting, and I just wanted to pass along to you all and the public a way that you can help the Clay County Education Foundation just by doing your normal shopping. If you shop on Amazon, if you go first to smiles.com, and then you can select a foundation. You can select the Clay County Education Foundation, and then it directs you to Amazon. You do your normal shopping, whatever you're shopping for on Amazon, but the Clay County Education Foundation gets money back toward that they can use for, of course, mini grants and things like that. So, and then I guess that was all that I had on my list tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Condon. Ms. Karakis?
I have a couple of things. Before I start, Ms. Cornegay, I have a question for you. I'm just wondering, how is our district advisory committee going? Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Fact, if I can get... Here we go. Thank you for your assistance. Our district advisory committee has been very active, and they have been working together to organize a parent workshop that will take place here in this room on Thursday evening at 6:30. Lots of questions about the Florida State Assessment as we get into the heavy part of the assessment season. And if you'll remember, a month or so ago, they organized, put together a frequently asked questions document that we posted on our website. And as a follow-up to that, we're going to bring parents in with the help of Dr. Weiskopf, and we're going to just answer parents' questions about the FSA, show them some sample test items, and we have about 4 or 5 of our representatives who have coordinated. They distribute flyers to throughout the county, and so we're excited about how many people want to show up and learn more about our FSA on Thursday evening, thanks to their collaborative efforts to put that together.
Thank you. After your meeting with them, could you send some kind of little summary to the board to let us know what kind of questions they were asking, what the results were, or, you know, just kind of give us an update on it?
Sure, I'd
Just
be happy.
email it to us. That would be great. Thank you. So over the last month, there's a few things that I want to make mention of that I was fortunate enough to be invited to, and one of them took place right here, and it was Fleming Island High School's Mr. Merritt's Poetry Out Loud. And I'd never been to it before, and it was pretty amazing. I think he had probably, 30, 35 students that competed, and it was a competition. They stood up here and they recited fabulous, amazing poetry, and it was really remarkable. If you've ever done speech competitions, you know, well, this was even more rigorous, and so I'd just like to compliment all of them. Mrs. Studdard and I both attended. Mr. Van Zant was there. The Special Olympics last Friday and the Friday before, and it's always great to see our special needs kids just having a blast. They just had so much fun, and the color guard came from Florida Youth Challenge Academy, and they were amazing. They were very good, and it's stuff like that that's just really great. One of the things that I got to participate in, and of course, Mrs. Studdard was there too. She's at everything. Grove Park Elementary's DARE graduation. And I'm so glad to see that it's still in some of our schools. I think it's, am I correct? It's only at Orange Park Elementary and Grove Park, and it's through the Orange Park Police Department. But I'm disappointed. I'm not sure if it's at all of our elementaries or not. But we mentor with 6th grade students, and they were telling us about the lungs. They actually bring in lungs that have been damaged from years of smoking, and the kids get to see them. And then they have glasses that they get to put on to simulate what it would be like if they were drunk. And I think it really had an impact on my mentee when she was talking to me about it. It was pretty amazing. And then today was the fair luncheon, and we're coming up on the Clay County Fair, and I hope everybody gets to go, and I hope they're open the full day on Fair Day, and we don't have a mix-up like we had last year, but the fair is wonderful, and I hope everybody goes. And I guess lastly, it really bothers me, the impasse hearing that we had on Tuesday and what I read in the paper. And our teachers and our support people are fabulous, and we know that. And I, as I said, have nothing but respect for all of you. I know that you're the reason that we are the great school district that we are. And I know that I couldn't walk a day in your shoes. I love children, but I don't know if I could do that many hours a day with kids. And you do a fabulous job. And it really bothered me to read what I did in the paper because it was wrong. It was not accurate. Those 4 items, I obviously everybody knows I voted in favor of or against the superintendent's recommendation, which I feel should have been to adopt or deny the special magistrate's recommendation, but I was 100% in favor of the special magistrate's recommendations. And I just hope that this district can get to the point where we work collaboratively with our employees and that we respect each other, that all of us respect each other, and I hope we can get to that one day. So I just want you all to know that I think you're great. Thank you.
Ms. Studdard?
Go ahead, Ms. Gilhousen. I went first last time.
She doesn't.
You don't have anything? Okay, I'll finish up then. Okay, thank you, Ms. Karakas. I had to check off fair luncheon today. I had to check off DARE graduation. I had to check off 2 Fridays of Special Olympics. So it was fun, all of it. I want to say something. The chorus that was from Grove Park and OPE tonight, I got to tell you, The Sound of Music is one of my all-time favorites, and you know I couldn't help but almost sing to myself. But that's what I was talking about when music teachers were getting cut. I mean, you saw tonight we had a split a teacher covering 2 schools. But listen, I was sitting there thinking if we hadn't done that, those 2 would have not been able, it wouldn't have happened, and I am just so thankful. I just, it touched me. I love that. I wish they'd come every month. It's only 9 days to the fair, don't forget. Let's hope for good weather. The only thing I'm going to say about the 9 o'clock meeting that we had that has been written about in the newspaper, I hate that it happened here in Clay County. I hate that it now is drawing so much on social media and in the newspaper. It's embarrassing. We're better than that. But when I see Facebook post where our teachers are made out to be so awful that some school board members would get harmed if they didn't have deputies walking them to their car. It almost made me sick on my stomach. We don't need things like that. We don't need an outstanding citizen on Fleming Island calling our teachers domestic terrorists and union agents. I have resent it, and I want it stopped. It's awful. These are our teachers. These are the people who are teaching your children, my grandchildren. It just needs to stop. I've told y'all before, the first year or 2 I was on the board, 1 year we went to impasse. It was awful. We started doing collaborative bargaining. We built a sense of trust, but this idea that the teachers are our enemies is wrong, and it's not. I'm not part of it. I just want y'all to know that I am not part of it. I'll stand by the support staff and the teachers. And on a final note, this is a very special week in all of our lives, and I hope that y'all all have a nice Easter weekend and come back next Monday. Do they come to school next Monday, or they have Monday off? They don't get Easter Monday this time, do they?
We're out Good Friday, in for 5 days, and off Fair Day, Monday, April 4th.
Okay, all right. But I just hope now that the cold spell's over, everybody can just relax and hope to goodness that the crazies stay off of social media and quit calling y'all names. Good night.
I don't have anything. I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter this coming Sunday, and that's all I have. Mr. Van Zandt?
Thank you for everybody that came tonight, for everybody that presented. I'm excited about our healthcare prospect. Look forward to meeting the United folks. I haven't got to meet you yet. The kids are out this Friday for Good Friday. Wish everybody a blessed Resurrection Sunday. Monday, April 4th is the cheap armband day. If you have kids and grandkids, go online now and get your armbands for the fair. That's the day to be there. Now, we skipped over the attorney. Did you have anything, Mr. Sykes?
No, he's the last one on the
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Are you finished? Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Mr. Sykes.
I need to schedule with the board an executive meeting to discuss one of our pending litigations. So I sent an email to Ms. Bush today to coordinate a convenient time for your calendar. So we will be setting an executive session, please.
Okay. All right. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.